Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Giguk, and today we are checking out Mushoku Tensei is an Isekai Masterclass. And it is. Everyone seems to be really enjoying Jobless Reincarnation. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's boss. I think the animation's class, the characters class, the world building is class. And yeah, it's just boss, and it's just one of those, isn't it? This season, there's always Isekais. You can't get away from it, and it's just like, ugh, another Isekai. But then there was hype around this before it came out, and then it delivered, and I'm really looking forward to it continuing. It's going to be really sad to see this anime season end, but I'm really looking forward to the next one. There's such good stuff coming out. Well, let's see what Giguk has got to say on Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation.
This video is sponsored by Raycon. Winter 2021 has absolutely reminded me why I love
It's been boss. It's been boss. Yes, Attack on Titan was incredible. Incredible. Fell off the first episode. I love the first episode. Wonder Egg is something that me and my girlfriend are going to binge. So glad I didn't check any of that out. Oh yeah.
When I was picking which one of these shows I really wanted to talk about the most, I kept coming back to Mushoku Tensei.
Everyone seems to, yeah.
Reincarnation. The Isekai of the season. Oh shit.
Here we go.
Hi there. I like Isekai. Yes,
hey.
Even the bad ones. And my relationship with the genre with this channel goes something along the lines of, alright guys, it's time to talk about another Isekai.
Hell yeah.
No, pick up please. I know you're bored of me talking about Isekai. I'm bored of me talking about Isekai.
He's always covered the best ones.
It's 2020 for new titles in the genre. Mushoku Tensei has come along and I believe has shown how truly special this genre can be.
Yeah, definitely.
Previous Grey Rat is a newly born baby entering a fantasy world who, after appreciating his mum's rack, realizes he's just a baby and his first words after entering this world were unbeknownst to them, Rudy is actually a 34-year-old man with his memory still intact who's been reincarnated after he died when he...
Got hit by a truck.
What's the plot point again? Got hit by a truck.
There you go. Like everything else, but yeah.
They've given birth to a baby permanently horny on May, but as he grows up, he soon
tries
realizes
to
that
learn.
he's not the only one that's horny. There's his dad. He's basically a hentai protagonist. He's horny. There's his mom. She goes at it with his dad a lot, but she's horny.
Yep.
There's his maid. She's horny too. The general population of this world, they're pretty horny.
They
Eventually,
all
he
seem
gets a
to
teacher
have
who's
some sort of sex drive going on.
actually relatively normal. Nothing more to say about her. Just kidding. She's ultra horny.
Yeah, she's ultra horny.
Rudy's second life, as he
That threw me,
slowly
that scene. It
grows
was a bit like,
older,
okay.
learns about the magic and this new world and discovering the wonders of Roxy's panties. Make a religion out of this. Now, for those of you who don't know more, this may seem like a very generic plot synopsis for you, and you may be wondering what about this plot separates it from every other
what is
isekai
it
that you've
different?
seen. Yes, round here in the Isekai Corner, Mushoku Tensei is often touted as the grandfather of modern Isekai, or the grandmother, or the father, or the alcoholic uncle who shows up at family parties and makes
Yeah.
comments about his thing. He's popularized a lot of tropes you see in modern Isekai. Antisocial nerd gets killed, you got a fantasy world with magic, fuck, you even get to see Truck-kun during his intern phase. Not to be that guy, but been following Truck-kun since he was underground, always knew he was going to
Yeah, you've been a long-time fan.
It's a piece of work is a pioneer of a genre and yet still aged badly if the once original tropes it pioneered have become tired cliches, but somehow Mushoku Tensei is one of those few isekais I've watched where the tropes you recognise in it make sense.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest questions I've
They don't
always
seem
wondered
forced or like
why
out of
do
place.
isekai need to be isekai? With a lot of early stories in these genres, it would always follow the adventures of these characters trying to find a way back to their own
Yeah.
world. 12 kingdoms, now and then here and there, even fucking Digimon.
Escaflowne.
There was a reason for these shows to be isekai
Kind of.
because the main motivating plot point was to find a way back. Eventually, this notion disappeared completely. Characters would have no interest in returning to their previous world, and instead the main reason for a story to become an isekai was, hey you, are you a loser nerd who needs a blank protagonist to project on? Well, look at this blank projection of a loser nerd who's actually good looking, talented and smart, but don't worry about that because he's a loser nerd just like you.
Yay.
And now in the new one where he has sexy singles in his area,
Alright.
he's completely OP because of this one simple trick that makes every bad guy hate him.
Oh my
That's
God.
right, it's everything you could ever hope for. So jump in front of a truck today and get transported to the world of your dreams. Call 1-800-KILL-ME-NOW to book your next truck driver. And clown or even throw in a free lolly. And all this time
Alright.
I've always wondered how the fuck did we get from point A to point B?
Yeah.
And watching this made me realise that Mushoku Tensei might have been that missing link this entire time. Rudy was an unpopular anti social shut-in in his previous life.
Yeah.
He was bullied, he has social anxiety, he has trauma. And
Yeah,
this
like
led
he
him to shut
was scared to go
himself off from the
outside,
world
man.
and become the person he was. He's an ugly, worthless lowlife of society who did nothing all day but watch anime, play video games, and jack off to hentai.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this guy. Is this the hero you'd like to project yourself on?
No.
An ugly bastard who can't even find a role in a hentai? I bet he even moderates a Discord server. These experiences and the person he was isn't
God.
just magically changed because he was reborn in a fantasy world. He carries the trauma of his previous life. He's really horny because he's obviously never had a love life and
Yeah, he's never had anything go on for him, yeah.
The Eurogames he used to play. He's not the perfect bastion of righteousness like every other Isekai protagonist.
No, he's not, but I like that.
Now is a loving
He's
family,
flawed.
people who are willing to give him a chance
Everyone's
and
flawed.
an opportunity to start
It's more
over.
believable.
The person he was before he was reincarnated isn't just ignored and forgotten about. In fact, it constantly plays an active part in shaping the kind of person he
I like
becomes
that,
in this
especially,
world.
like, yeah, he's
Become a better
learning to
person
overcome things
because
that held him back in his real life.
in spite of it. There's an actual reason for this Isekai to be a fucking Isekai. Not to say that this is the first Isekai to ever refer to a protagonist's previous life, but it definitely feels
Yeah,
like
ReZero
it
did a really good job,
had the
didn't it,
biggest
this season, like,
effect
touching on
and starts right from the get-go.
Subaru's, like,
Tropes and
relationship
cliches
with his
you
mum and
might
dad.
recognise aren't just tropes and cliches as much as they are just core elements that build on the plot, characters, or world. They are not just surface-level writing prompts. There's a reason why they are there. Looking at Rudy as a character, I know there's going to be a fair chunk of people who gets put off by Rudy's behaviour, but I think
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
kind of the point. Even if there are some things he does that even I'm not going to stand here and try and defend.
Yeah, that scene was a bit questionable, wasn't it? Mother's Basement touched on that.
What he essentially raising his love interest from a young age to become his perfect wife in the future stands, but it awfully sounds like a word that rhymes with schlooming. That is generally illegal and or frowned upon in most places in the world. I'm just waiting for this to be the next thing that Twitter hate mob picks up, but look, I'm not saying what he does is justifiable at all, or that there aren't some really weird things that happen every now and then. That guy really just tell an 8-year-old kid to use protection? Can I run in the show for a second? Just... But what I am saying is that you don't have to support all of the main character's actions, nor condone everything that happens to appreciate a good fictional story.
Definitely.
From all of Rudy's actions, you can sincerely see him trying to become a better person.
Yes, he is.
The more experiences he has in his new life, the more he realizes he doesn't have to be like that person he was before.
Yeah, he can
gets to see him not
change.
just grow in age all over again, but as a person as well. And come on, guys, who doesn't love a good redemption arc? But he's not the
Hell
only one
yeah.
either. For example, his dad is basically an ex-harem protagonist and kind of a sleazebag who does some really uncool things. But he does try to be his best to be a good father and set a good example for his son, even if he can't be that perfect role model himself. And then there's Eris.
Yeah.
She's kind of a little shithead. The real magic of the show
Okay,
comes in the
that's
care
one way of
that's put
calling
into the
it
characters
something.
and this world they envelop. There's nothing particularly special about the settings or the concepts. You can just feel the attention to detail being put into every aspect of this story. Every single character feels like a living, breathing part of this world.
Yeah,
rather
nothing
than just
seems
a buggy
forced.
Oblivion NPC there to just fill the space. If this is catching your interest and you're just waiting for me to get to that one big plot hook to get you invested, well, there kind of isn't one right now. Alright, so I wrote that line and the corresponding paragraph a few weeks ago before the big plot hook did happen. So, that really completely fucks up my next point. Because what I was going to say is that some may see this series as a bit of a slow burn, since especially at the beginning, not a lot really happens. A lot of it is just Rudy living his life and growing up. At times it can feel more like a slice of life, but it set up its foundation so well that I was already
World
incredibly invested in
building.
these characters and the world. And now that
There you
there
go.
has been a big turning point in the series, I'm even more invested. Because big events don't need to happen for the series to be able to say a lot or do something interesting. For example, in one of the episodes, Rudy stages a fake kidnapping in order to teach this tsundere a lesson because yada yada yada, long story short, the kidnappers end up being real, he has to save the girl, gets a sword thrown at him and almost dies. Except, of course, he gets saved last minute, which didn't really surprise me or I'm sure anyone else. What did surprise
The animation's
me,
so
however,
sick.
is the bloody decapitated corpse that landed at Rudy's feet. And for the first time, Rudy says nothing. No over-the-top freakouts, no internal monologue, just a pure, shocking look of, oh shit.
This is how real
There's
it
a
can
dead
get.
body in
Yeah.
front of me. Which is such a small moment that made me realise how much I took something like this for granted when I've seen similar situations happen in other isekai stories. But yeah, it
does tend to get brushed off, doesn't it? Yeah.
Despite the lighter tones presented in early episodes, this is not some harmless JRPG world. People die, people kill, and it can be brutal. And Rudy
Could have been him.
exactly how any one of us would react. He's a 30-year-old shut-in who's just been presented with a fresh corpse in front of him. But this
I'd
job
freak
goes
the
against
hell
how
out, man.
casually everyone around him acts means that this must not really be a rare sight for this
No,
world.
this happens normally, and it's like, whoa.
This type of setting and what we can come to expect in the future. It's not dark, it's not edgy, it's just real. And that's what I love about the series.
Yeah, it
it's
feels
grounded,
real.
Despite being set in that same cliche isekai fantasy world we thought we knew. And it says everything it needs to without always needing to rely on dialogue, even though it has a fuck ton of it. It knows when to show, and it knows when to tell, and it knows when to do a little bit of both. And even though this setting feels so familiar to what we've seen before, such care has been put into the way it's constructed and presented that it's just a treat to just inhabit it.
It looks so
Like
nice.
production, because there's not too much I can say beyond the animation looks good, and the fight scenes are nice, and the music makes the nice noise. But there's something about this production that just feels special.
I agree with all those points.
Mushoku Tensei is done by Studio Bind, a completely new studio that was formed from White Fox with staff members that
Yeah, it's their first show, isn't it? Yeah.
Previous isekai titles, and god damn, they must have brought together the Avengers of isekai staff members,
Yeah.
because this show
It's
looks
boss.
and sounds incredible. According to interviews with producers, this studio was essentially formed just so they could focus on Mushoku Tensei,
Which is incredible.
not only insane, but also shows that someone has a lot of fucking faith in this series. The name Studio Bind doesn't do justice to how good of a job they're doing. It's like, fuck me, man, this gets me excited straight to my studio shaft, because some of this animation is making my studio bones straight up studio nuts. Because the best way I can put it is that this doesn't feel like it belongs on TV.
Love it.
You know how you can watch an anime franchise movie and it can at times feel like you're just watching an extended anime episode or a bunch of
Yeah,
episodes
just a
stuck
budget
together,
increase.
because even if it has that slightly higher budget, it doesn't have this big screen presence. This is the opposite of that. It's a TV series that gives off this energy that it belongs on the big screen.
Yeah, it
And
does.
it's not just one nicely animated scene or just one amazing moment, but something about this entire show just gives off that vibe of a higher caliber production that feels like it should be encapsulated in the magic of cinema. And that's basically Mushoku Tensei. The only real downside I can think of right now is that I'm kind of scared how far this production can go. Right now, the anime is confirmed for 23 episodes this year, and judging by how much of the story is taking its time, we are barely scratching the surface. I'm praying to God that Studio Binds are able to adapt as much as they can, because even without reading ahead, I can already feel how much this story still has
There's going to be a
say.
lot, isn't there?
And it
Yeah.
would be a shame if it never gets the chance to say it, because watching this show has kind of made me fall back in love with Isekai. Mushoku Tensei isn't just a story about a guy reincarnated into a fantasy world. It's a guy who's been given a second chance
Yep.
to do something better and become the person he never could be, who just happens to be reincarnated into a fantasy world, showing us that no matter how old you are, it's never too late to make a change in your life. It's never too late to better yourself. It's never too late for a coming-of-age story. And through all the overpowered protagonists and power fantasies and endless harems, watching this made me wonder if this was what Isekai was always meant
To be.
about.
Yeah.
Not just another adventure in another time, in another world, but maybe just another chance at life.
I like that. Oh man, yeah. Is it carrying on into the next season? Because like, if it's 26 episodes, then that would mean if it's not having a break, it would carry on, wouldn't it? Because I'm hoping it is. Because, oh man, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sad to see so many shows ending this season. This season's been so good, but like, if there are some still teetering over, then that's class. Because even ReZero, man, ReZero's going to be finishing now, isn't it? That carried over into spring, and it's just like, I mean winter. It's the spring one coming up next, and it's like, oh man, you know. But Mushoku Tensei is boss, and I do hope that that studio does get to keep doing what they're doing, because they're doing an amazing job, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And yeah, he is right. Isekai seem forced nowadays. It seems like characters are just put in a really weird scenario, and there's no kind of like real meaning for why that person's been transported there. But with the character in this, it's like it is his second chance at trying to become a better person and like figuring stuff out that like was messed up in his first life. Even like his problems with like dealing with going outside and stuff, like he's actually growing and overcoming like things he could never overcome in his original life. And yeah, Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys. It's all you guys next time.